you ever thought about becoming the authority in your own life that creates experiences that you really, really want and desire and need? We let our personality get in the way. We're codependent, become victims of our environments and our circumstances and the wishes of other people. But today we can choose to become the authority in our own lives. What is going to change everything for us is the power of our own intention. Our intentions have the power to change the landscape of your choices and life experiences. So far, we have understood that we can choose our attitude in any given moment. Or to make that sentence shorter, we can choose. We really, really can choose. And our choices do become our life experiences. Intentions are energetic in nature. They are also magnetic in nature because they're in the body. And intentions have the power to propel you in the direction of your choice, which is why it's so important to understand your power and your intention. Before making any decisions, I always ask myself, DTNMS. This is something I teach to seekers and creators. Does this nourish my soul? This little exercise helps us understand the power of intention. Am I or am I not going to do this or that or the next thing? It takes us really through contemplation beyond the limitations of our 5 senses. It allows us to access higher consciousness. You see, higher consciousness isn't hidden somewhere where no one can find it. It's hidden in plain sight, in stillness. Now, most of us don't even know we have the power and ability to choose our direction, our paths, our experiences. These people are sitting in a 5-sensory world, in a world where they're allowing their personality to dictate this or that. They're allowing their personality to respond to their environment, all the people, conversations, places and things in their environment make the choices for them. This is where our true, authentic power really begins to take root. Our deepest intentions are to be happy, blissful, giving, and part of something very powerful, very big, very creative, that never dies. That is our intention. But we let our frightened personalities stunt us. The world can look like it is at war, it is in discord, it is in disorder. Sooner or later, when we believe our thoughts, we believe the world is in disorder. And then, in turn, we become disordered. But the work of a paradigm shift is to remember our spiritual selves, our sacred selves, or our soul. Whatever you want to call it makes no difference whatsoever. It's the awareness of our power to choose, our attitudes, our intentions, and our intuition. These are things that people take for granted and don't even use. They lie in the attics of our minds, and our power lies dormant with them. Emotional awareness is the first key. EQ, heart, loving is the first key that opens up this power. We are creatures that are born with free will, and choice is what we are here to do at every single turn. Imagine you had a guide that helped you navigate the labyrinth of life, but at every turn you were guided to take the right passage or path. This is what it's like to use the power of your own intention. Now, if we're walking in a labyrinth and we're in the first half of life, and we have not done the work of letting go of our 10 ego insurgents, we're going to be frightened at every turn. We're going to be unsure, uncertain, and afraid. But if we've done the work and we recover a sense of courage, a sense of wisdom, a sense of resilience and certainty, then our intention works automatically for us as a guide. Every time you need to make a choice, ask yourself, what is my intention for doing this? Is it people-pleasing? Is it to go with the flow and not create waves? What is my intention for doing this? Intention is behind cause and effect. Intention is the cause. So consider this. The law of attraction is this. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So we can't go around with a mask on and expect to attract what we are. That is what we are not. So you don't apply the law of attraction, for example, to the things that you want. It's rather about allowing. If you want joy, bliss, harmony, and peace, you need to allow those things in. And to do that, you need higher self-love than the personality will allow. So we let go of our control in the labyrinth, not wondering with uncertainty and fear which turn to take. Rather, we sit, we be still, and we know we use our intention to guide us. We allow the power of intention to attract good, peace, safety, love into our lives. We can walk into a project with the intention to make money at any cost. We can walk into the same project with our intention to serve, to give. There is little more loving than giving and serving. And this is what comes back to us. It is in giving that we receive. It is in dying to self or personality that we are born to eternal life. The Hindus used to say, you are what your deepest desire is. Whatever your intention is, think of intentions as seeds that will grow into what you want and need. New seeds of contemplation that will shape your future. Conscious intention is knowing who we want to be, where we now want to go, fully awake and fully aware. It is a seed that will grow into something. That is real purpose in life. If we're out of alignment with our true intentions, we're in pain. When we clarify our intentions, we become powerful, and we get there far, far faster than we ever would without that new consciousness, that deep intent. It was said that the children of Israel, who would inherit the promised land, took 40 years to travel the distance they could have traveled in just 11 days. They went round and round the mountain. You see, they did not believe that God would help them. That was the lesson of the story. There was no intention. It was all just happening by accident. They were being led instead of leading. They were being unconscious instead of conscious. All the way through the stories, they had to be persuaded to have faith and believe that they could enter the promised land. An 11-day trip that takes 40 years when we live as long as we live is insanity. Making decisions without the power of your intention is insanity. How do we as seekers create a paradigm shift with the power of intention? First, we slip into the second thought. We have a thought, a feeling, and then an action, and then a consequence. Contemplative intelligence allows us to slip in a second thought. Don't believe your first thought. It is based on the principles of your personality, of survival and safety. Slip into the gap of the second thought. Always use a state of restful awareness before you make decisions. Way before decisions, is when we need to set our intentions. Dig deep into our desires. Does this nourish my soul? There was a story many years ago of a king who just couldn't get his country right. He continuously made bad decisions that did not help his community. His kingdom started to fail. A wise counselor of his came and informed the king that there was a wise sage that could help living in the mountains. Immediately, the king summoned the sage and brought him before the court. When the sage arrived, he heard the story of how the kingdom had fallen into ruin time and time again. They just couldn't make a decision that helped the kingdom grow, defend itself properly, and increase. The sage said he would help, but on one condition. He needed one empty room in the castle. Only he would have a key. No one else was to enter the room. If anyone else did enter the room, the sage said, it would be our agreement that I will immediately leave the kingdom. The king thought this was a small price to pay and decided to give the sage the empty room as he wished. It didn't take much time at all before the sage started to make decisions that changed the kingdom for the better. One wise decision after another led the kingdom into riches, into wealth. Soon enough, the kingdom had completely changed around, thanks to the sage. But of course, as things go, people started to gossip. People started to wonder how the sage knew what he knew, and they wanted this power for himself. They conspired to go into his room, the empty room to which the key only belonged to the sage. They became suspicious and wanted to know what he was doing to make these wise decisions. Despite the warnings of the king not to go in the room because of their agreement, they went into the room. The room was completely empty, aside from a dirty old coat and a bowl, a begging bowl. At the time people of the castle went into the room, the sage caught them and said, "You have broken our agreement. Why did you come into the room? This was our agreement. It is now time for me to leave." The king stuck true to his agreement and said, "Fair enough, but can you answer us one question? How were you making these decisions? And what is this begging bowl and the garment for?" So the sage said, "I'll be on my way. But as you wish, I'll tell you what the room was for. Every time there was a powerful decision to be made, I would come into the room, I would put on the coat, and I would be silent. I would remember where I came from in a state of restful awareness, and the answers would come to me." Before we make decisions, we can remember the sage and his techniques. Learn to slip into the space of the contemplative second thought. We are not just our minds, we are thoughts, emotions, memories, perceptions. And when we become meditative, contemplative, we release the power of intention. Pure consciousness comes to our aid. This is how we plant the seeds of our intentions. When asking yourself, does this nourish my soul? DTNMS. Do so in a state of restful awareness. Detach from the outcome and the uncertainty. Rather become a mystic, open to all the options, and let the universe handle the details. Energy is an infinite organizing power. Focused intentions help you align with an organizing power that helps you navigate life. This is why people pray, contemplate, and meditate. In this way, our answers come naturally. When we act with the power of intention, we release our pure potentiality. No longer are we limited. The sky becomes our only limit. Namaste.